And we are live. What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another weekly live stream. Today we are joined by the one and only, you guys already know him. He doesn't even need an introduction, but I'm still going to give him one. Mr. James Ward, the owner of Native American History, the owner of a brilliant Faceless school community that's absolutely crushing. You know, he's worked with hundreds of people, crazy success stories. I'm sure we'll hear a little bit about them today, but this is the man who knows how to do Faceless content. We met it back in, I believe, March, and it's been incredible. We've gone through an incredible journey together. He's getting more involved, which you guys probably know this if you've been in the school community. He's getting more involved. We'll talk about that today. His mission is very similar to ours. He just wants to help people. And, you know, we connected early on in the year, and it's just been an incredible journey. And we're super excited for these next couple months with James. So, James, what do you got for us today?
What's up, man? Well, first of all, thanks for having me back out. It's always exciting to be here. And, what you guys are doing with OSSA, I couldn't be more excited with the direction you guys are going than I am right now. And yeah, man, I just think that we're in such a unique time with faceless content. We've seen so many people that are having success that have never had success, in any social media. So I think we've positioned ourselves, you guys as a company have positioned yourself amazing. And it's cool to be part of this, and have an opportunity to share the knowledge that started out as an experiment, but here we are. So I'm fired up for that.
Incredible. And before we hop into some of the questions I have for you today, do you mind giving a little bit deeper background on, where you come from, when you started on social media, and, maybe a short summary on kind of how you got to here today?
Yeah, sure. I mean, so look, as far as TikTok's concerned, that's where most people know me from. I didn't start TikTok until really April of 2023. So I'm only 18 months into this thing. I was a little bit late to the game, unlike you, Cole, who came in, with blazing. I think you're a little bit earlier than me from that perspective.
A little
bit. Which is good. I wish I would have been a little bit earlier, but I have that story of I came from a consulting background. I've helped people build multiple different businesses. I came to TikTok for the organic growth of it. As you guys know, I mean, in most platforms, it's paid advertising that does it, right? Where TikTok wasn't it, but I couldn't quite figure it out. It took me from April until July, literally, to even get 1,000 followers. I was at 777 followers 3.5 months into it, ready to quit. My wife kind of urged me, no, just keep going type thing. And what I did, man, is I did a video literally on July 15th of 2023 that was based on AI that taught people how to create a website in 30 seconds. Now, at that point, I wouldn't consider myself an AI guru or anything like that, but it's something that I taught myself. So I taught people, and things drastically changed for me, like in a very quick path. And I think that anyone who's had success on any social media platform knows that we're all one video away. So had the opportunity to really start to take off. Fast forward to March, right? When you actually reached out to me, I had done a video to like my community that basically said, hey, if you had a choice between doing faceless content or face forwarding content, which would you choose? And overwhelmingly, the response I got on that video was faceless. And I knew it was like kind of a hot topic, but I didn't really fully understand the capacity is where it was going, where we're at today. So I started a faceless channel on March 8th, as you know, Native American history, as you mentioned. And dude, you contacted me like probably about a week and a half into doing that. And I had started with another company. We can talk about that, like some of the intricate parts of it. But
Yeah.
you contacted me at a point, it was almost like serendipity, that it was like you hit me up. I just started this process. And you didn't even know that I'd started the process. You contacted me because I do a lot of AI reviews, like on my actual channel. And you hit me up, and I looked at your followers, and I was like, why would this dude that has over 5 million followers be hitting me up? And it's because you had launched, OSSA, and, here we are today. So that's kind of the journey that took us here. And from March until today, I've been able to, like you said, help, well over 100 people through the process of building faceless content the way that I built it. And OSSA is my primary tool for doing that.
That's incredible. And James is a very humble guy. He didn't mention in there that his account on TikTok, I believe it's over 35,000 followers and 7 or 8 million views over the past short amount of time. So he didn't mention that, but he just to summarize what he's saying, essentially he's built an account from 0 to 30 to, I believe, almost
40,000 at this point.
40,000 followers at this point on TikTok. And not only that, he has also taken people that I've personally talked to, such as Christine, Koo, many more, from no experience with faceless content to monetize on TikTok. He is the man to that. He is just the man with the plan. He knows how this stuff works. And I'm going to be asking him some super interesting questions. And yeah, James, thanks so much for, giving everyone some background, anyone who somehow doesn't know you by this point.
Well, no, man, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, the first thing I wanted to ask you, James, is what made you pursue faceless content as opposed to face content? Because I believe you mentioned this, but you also have a following for your personal brand. But what was that turning point for creating faceless content?
Well, I mean, a couple things. Number one, I caught myself consuming faceless content on my For You page, right? I mean, when I was posting my videos and things like that, I kept seeing this faceless content pop up, and I was checking, like, when you look at the numbers on these, it was insane. So it looked like they were growing much faster than face forwarding account. I started just looking at different ways I could do it. I was already in the AI space. So obviously I knew about text to video. I knew about the different things that you could do. I had a buddy of mine that had actually converted from a face account to a faceless account. And like I said, I did a video on April 21st, I think it was, of 2024, and just basically said, hey, to my community, what would you prefer? And the shocking response to me was like, I want faceless, because there's multiple reasons, man. I mean, like, people either have insecurities, it's their work that won't allow them to show their face. But here's one thing for certain: everybody wants to take part in social media. Some have the capacity to do it, some don't. And those that don't, whether it be the insecurity side of it, the business side of it, where they can't show their face. You'd be shocked how many actual doctors that I've sat down with in the last 3 or 4 months. I'm talking from plastic surgeons to brain surgeons. I'm talking top level people that have hired me, and I'm like, what? Anytime you get in a room with someone like that, you're like, hey, what's going on? But basically what happened, man, is that I started it as an experiment, and I didn't come out, I didn't share my page with anyone, by the way. You knew what it was, but I didn't share my page with anyone for the sake that I didn't want my following coming over and trying to follow me. I wanted to build it organically. I wanted to show it and be able to create a way that anybody, regardless of what their level is, could do. I always think of my mom when it comes to the technical side of things. If she can do it, anybody can do it. No offense, mom. But so that's what I did, man, and it worked. And there's a whole process to it. But yeah, that's where it started, and that's where we're at.
That's incredible. And then a follow-up question I have to that is, at this point, because you've been in both face content and faceless content, which one is easier in your opinion?
Well, there's no doubt faceless is easier. Now, there's some things that I do think face forwarding content is better for. No doubt. If you're selling your own course, if you're selling something like that, I think people buy typically from people. However, it's not even a competition as far as growth from a faceless account to a face forwarding account. I would be almost embarrassed to show my personal numbers on my account, my face forwarding account versus my faceless. When you look at the analytics, I mean, I'd almost be embarrassed because it's that huge of a difference. And not just me, man. I mean, I've worked with people that have literally never posted a TikTok video in their life, Christine. Some of these people like that never done any social media, that have blown this thing up and started earning. So I think that faceless accounts right now, it's not by accident that you see every single major marketer that we've known for the last 10 years now talking about faceless content. It's overtaken social media, period.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And what's crazy and something we kind of share, James and I, is, I saw a little brink of, why did we create OSSA? Because some people ask that, right? And it was back in 2022 when I saw a video. It was using 11 Labs voiceover, and it was a guy doing push-ups in the rain, right? And it had some like funk music behind it. If you don't know what funk is, it's a motivational type of music that's very popular on social media. And I see this video and it has 500,000 likes or something like that. And all these people in the comments are like, "Go King!" Like, don't, don't give your time to her, right? And they're all motivated around. And I'm like, it's crazy to me because I'm like, this is AI. Does anyone know this is AI? It's not real. And people are having like real emotion and this real commitment of their attention to something that is technically not real in a way, right? And that was like a weird moment for me. And that was right around 2022 when ChatGPT came out. And it was in that moment that I was like, whoa, Faceless is going to be huge. Because if right now it's 2022 and this is right when ChatGPT 3 came out, not even 4, like can't even compare it to where AI is now. And that's where it was. Like, look at where we are now. And then in a year from now, where are we going to be? And that kind of moves into my next question. You've kind of seen this space develop, right? You've been in it more than anyone. Where do you see faceless content? What role do you think it's going to play over the next year? And then let's say 5 years as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think number one, I believe we're going to see it flood the market even more so than it is. And what I mean by that is that we're just at the beginning of this. Like you talked about the technology behind it. I mean, many of these tools weren't even around, right? You know, a year ago. And here we are today. I built this business, entire page organically. It takes me 15 minutes a day. Like, I mean, legit 15 minutes a day to do it. And it's one of those things that I feel it opens the door for so many different people that have been restricted for multiple different reasons. But I think where you're going to see Faceless go is I think you will see it take more of a role in creating more income than probably ever before. And not just like from a creator's fund. I'm talking about from a full on marketing standpoint. I think you will see companies, big brands using it. I saw that Coca-Cola came out with an AI video just the other day. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but it shows their Coca-Cola trucks. It's all generated by AI, the 100% of the commercial. So I think just like in anything else, we're going to see a lot of transition in the way that people do their content. I think even creators like yourself and I will probably implement some type of faceless content into our current face forwarding content, just for the mere fact that the one with the most quantity sometimes wins. And there's only so many hours I have in my day. I can't record 7 different videos. But if I wanted to kick out 5 OSSA videos in 15 minutes and just schedule them to be posted, I could have content running all the time, and I think that that's the difference between that and just having a normal face forwarding where we have to edit it, we have to do all this stuff. You don't have to mess with that.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. And then, and I totally agree with you. And my next question would be, when it comes to, because there's this general consensus, kind of want to dive into monetization, James. There's a general consensus that faceless channels can be harder to monetize. And my question to you is, in your experience, is this true? And where have you found the most success in monetizing or leveraging your attention that you're getting to monetize in any way?
Man, I think that's completely false. I think that faceless channels are easier to monetize because they're easier to grow. I mean, like that's just the reality. The impact that you can have on more people quicker than what you could on a face forwarding account is completely different. You take the skill set out that is required for a face forwarding account, right? Not everybody's built to make offers, to have sales, even to go live. That skill set, not everybody has. Some people don't even want it. They're too introverted to do it. So I think that with a faceless, account, what it does is it opens up the door for monetization that you just strictly don't have on your own. Like with our account, there's multiple ways that you can earn. Our primary way is through the Creators Fund on TikTok Shop TikTok Shop Creator Rewards Program. But we also are approved for TikTok Shop affiliate. We don't do that on our page. Multiple people that I'm working with right now are implementing that though, right? They're using Faceless to grow an account to 5,000 to get approved for TikTok Shop affiliate, because that they know based on the numbers that I can show them, that's the fastest path to get there. Some of these people have tried for a year. I had a guy, this is no joke, I just really quick, I got to tell this. I had a
Yeah.
guy that got approved his very first week of doing a faceless account. He had
Wow.
2,100 followers with TikTok Shop affiliate. He got approved early. So I tell you that because that's a major way that people are moving. And then obviously, you guys, I think everyone knows this, especially as it relates to TikTok. Once you get to 1,000 followers, you can have a link immediately. So depending on how you design your content around that, you truly can have any offer that you want out there to be able to promote, and not you from a sales perspective. Like imagine just giving value to an audience that wants to receive it, and then the product just being a byproduct of, hey, I love this content, I'm going to go get whatever they have. it,
Yep.
it just opens up doors that you can't do on your own.
No, that's awesome. And then I guess a follow up on that, James, would be talking, kind of pivoting out of monetization. When we talk about your specific niche and your specific content you're creating, I'm sure a lot of people will be listening to this and will be wondering, why did he choose that specific niche versus others? So my two main questions is, one, Is there any specific reason why you chose the niche that you chose? And then the second one would be, do you think that there's a certain type of niche that's best for people?
Okay, yeah. So to answer the first question, I know you can't tell, obviously, by the way I look, but I do have some Native American blood in me, and so does my wife, right? So we already had a little bit of that uh, excitement about that area. But when I decided to do this, I didn't want to do the same thing that everybody else is doing. Like most people out there today, they're trying to grab either motivational quotes, trending music, they're trying to do stuff like that. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to go after an actual audience that could be passionate about a subject that would not only allow us to just give them the content, but could also turn into a monetized opportunity, whether it be products that we're selling, anything like that. I think it's fun. I think it's really challenging if you're doing, let's say, motivation, for example, to turn that into some type of financial opportunity other than the creator rewards program. So for us, we decided to do it completely different. And with Native Americans, I knew that those people were passionate about their communities, and we've learned so much from it. Honestly, like we thought that we knew a lot, we knew nothing. And with the help of Chat GPT, obviously that's one tool that we use regularly to be able to help us do this. But we've gotten to a point, Cole. It's kind of a weird deal, and you guys got to be really careful of this when you're building these pages. We've fallen in love with that page, and we've fallen in love with our followers and the community. It's you remember Kui, like his you heard his story. Maybe some of y'all heard it. He fell in love with. He was already in love with it, but now he is like taking this thing to a whole different level when it comes to faceless content and what you can do with it. So that would be the reason why we chose that. I'm a big believer in this, you guys. If you're going to start a faceless channel, my opinion is this: you need to find a group of people that are really truly passionate about a specific subject and just give them the content that they want. Don't overthink it. Don't try to chase the next viral video. We don't, dude, our biggest video is 270,000. That's obviously not a flex, right? The reason why I share that with people is because I want them to understand we're about consistency. We're not about like trying to go viral. So if you find audiences that are truly passionate, you can always plug them with the right information and get the views that you want and get the engagement that you want.
Yeah, that's incredible. And I want to dive a little bit deeper into that because I think it's such an important point. And it's something that is really radiating within our community because of that advice you've gave. And I think that's like you said, it's a huge mistake that people make. We see so many motivational faceless pages, right? So many generalized pages. And your approach has always been pick an audience to go after. I'm sure there's people right now in the audience that, and this is good advice for a personal brand or for faceless content. And that's why I really want to dive into this. Do you want to explain a little bit more about what you mean by going after an audience? Because that's something that, to my understanding, no one else talks about.
Yeah, I mean, so look, it really comes down, and I say this all the time. People are like, "You're nuts." I think about people that are really, truly, almost like fanatical about something, like they're crazy. I mean, think about it. There's groups of people all over the world here today that you and I think that those people are a little bit nutty. Let's just be honest, right? We don't understand why they are like they are, why they're so involved into something, and y'all, these people are everywhere. I want you to imagine just getting those people that are already crazy excited about a subject and just giving them what they already want. Like instead of trying to build on something that is a motivational quote. There's nothing wrong with that. Like I love self improvement. I'm down with that, right? But those can work, and I've seen many of those pages blow up. By the way, dude, I mean like massively blow up. So they can absolutely work. I just think that if you can find the people that are passionate, you're going to have a actual business that you can monetize rather than just building something on fluff, because those eventually die. And I tell you what, if you look at most of the motivational pages, they built it on one or two videos having multiple million views. Like they'll have that one video that has 5 million views on it, right? We don't do that, man. We're consistent. We want to get paid every day, not one time. So
Yep.
that's the big difference.
No, it's such good advice. And to give a little bit more context to everyone listening, every single day I see people creating content on our platform, right? Because I have a little eye into kind of what's being created. And obviously, I'm in the school community, and James sees this too, probably just as much as me. And there's so many people that come to me, and probably to James as well, that have started an account And it's they can't answer the question who you actually trying to speak to. And if you can't answer that question, you have low views. That's most likely the first place to start across any type of content. Like I said, personal brand or faceless content. The first question you have to ask is, who am I talking to? Because at the end of the day, people look at social media, and this is something I always talk about in a lot of the free resources I give out. Social media is very simple. The algorithm is very simple. It's people that are scrolling and watching your stuff. At the end of the day, people throw around the term algorithm. For my short form content that I've created, I've around 4 billion short form views. I actually don't look at retention charts. I never look at retention charts. The main thing is I look at views, likes, shares, saves, comments. That's it. And if a video has high views, and let's say 3 videos are out there, right? Let's say you have 3 videos on your page. One has more views, the other ones don't have views. That's an indication that you did something in there that resonated with the audience more than those videos. Then you can dive deeper and you can look at the comments and say, okay, what are the top comments? Okay, well, these humans that are watching my content, right? They commented and then they liked this one the most. They liked this comment. That's an indication that you talked about something that your audience enjoyed, right? It's like, okay, well, this has more saves than these. Well, that means it probably resonated with people more than your other content. It's very simple. You just have to think about it, at least how I think about it, how I always have is these are just people watching your content. We don't need to look at the algorithm as some big scary black box. At the end of the day, if you just look at your content like this did better than these, and then what are the people, the humans that have interest and they have passion saying about my content, they will literally tell you this is why I watched your video. That is what the comment section is for. You look at the most liked comment, make a video about that. And it's just this iterative process. And that's kind of what I want to dive into because I feel like a lot of people, James, they don't really have trouble getting that first video out. But I think what a lot of people have trouble with is staying motivated and
Yeah.
continuing to post content. So I wanted to ask you, how did you manage to stay motivated and grow your page to 40,000 plus followers on TikTok, monetize, and now you're teaching all these people, but how are you managing to stay motivated and especially early on? Because that's when most people fall off.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think some of that's built into my DNA, right? I mean, some of that's built into all of us, like that we got to stick with it. But I tell people this, especially when it comes to content, y'all. This is a marathon. I know we've all heard that. Hey, it's a marathon, not a sprint thing. So I'm not going to use that analogy. But what I am going to tell you is this is something that's designed that can, if you built properly, can pay you monthly, daily, every single day just by posting a couple videos. It takes us 15 minutes a day. We get paid every single month on this, right? There are very few businesses out there that don't require you to sell a product, sell a service, be in front of it, doing something like that. We don't mess with that, right? We take 15 minutes a day and we post it. So for me, in my mind, I was thinking a couple things. Like from an entrepreneurial standpoint, I was thinking about if I could find a way to prove this concept and show other people how to do it, because one of the biggest things from a consulting standpoint that I faced is people that don't want to make content. They just don't want to be out in front of it. James, do you know how we can do this without putting our face out there? Do you know how we can do this? I don't have time to do the content, whatever it is. So it was a twofold thing for me. Number one, I knew if I could prove this concept and create some residual income for myself with a low tech way of doing it, that would be amazing. And number two, if I could find a way to show people how to do it very easily, that was number two. So my motivation might be different than yours, but here's the deal that I'm going to tell you. You guys will be shocked, and I do mean shocked, how little time this takes you if you do it the right way, how it can be designed. I almost got to the point, Cole, because you saw like, how do you stay motivated? I got to the point where I almost got a little bit bored with my native page, like recently. I kind of told you this, so I'm throwing myself under the bus here, you guys. But it got to the point where I knew what videos were going to pop off a little bit, right? And here's a little secret for every content creator out there, and Cole, you already know this. Especially where it comes to TikTok, they give you clues. If you go look at your top videos and see what the top engagement is, do you realize that you can make those same exact videos, like with a little bit of a twist, and
Yep.
oftentimes get very similar results? And everyone's like, well, I don't want to put the same stuff in front of my followers. Look, your followers are not who you're going after. You're going after the For You page. You're going after new people, right? So just use that little tip. So for me, Cole, it was like I had to prove this concept. And truthfully, when OSSA came into my life, I started with in video, just so you guys know, like my first week and a half before I met Cole. And then I found OSSA. I was like, oh my God, like this is taking me so much less time because these videos were taking me like 45 minutes to edit on in video. And I was like, I'm never going to be able to, number one, show people how to do this. And number two, I don't have time to do this. So you came into my life at the right time. But I'm telling you guys, if you can get this thing designed in your life to understand that this is the ultimate side gig that takes you a few minutes a day to be able to do your content so you can concentrate on the rest of your business, you won't need any more motivation than that. It works.
You heard it here first from the man himself. It's incredible. Thank you so much for sharing. It's awesome. And then I guess let's see real quick before we kind of move on to the next questions, James. I want to see if we have any questions in here. And let me just take a look. So Tony asked, what would be the process in finding new content once you have been posting content for quite some time, new ideas, topics? Do you want to take that one?
Yeah, I can tell you from my perspective. Hey, what's up, Tony? Man, good to see you, dude. Tony's in Australia, by the way. I know Tony. Good dude.
Welcome in, Tony.
So, like, Tony, my deal is this. I lean on ChatGPT like crazy. I just lean on it, man. I mean, like, it comes up with most of it. Now, what's really cool about OSSA and what's really cool about short form content is it does allow you to use your own creativity to an extent. So, like for my subject specifically, it's Native American history. I will come up with little thoughts in my head and I will bounce those ideas off of ChatGPT to help me, right? So it actually helps me determine those things. So for me, I would really just lean into that AI. That way we don't have to use too much of our brain power to figure it out. But Cole, that's my thing. And I have switched, I can talk a little bit about some of the things I've done just recently, which has blown my page up, but I'll let you go on and take it too, because you do a ton of short form.
No, you tell that first. That's way more interesting
Okay.
than what I'm going to say.
So Tony, just like in relation to this is what, and I told Cole this, and my wife helps me manage our channel. She answers all the comments and stuff like that. I told you I got a little bit bored with just like what I refer to as the vanilla. If you're vanilla with your page, it's probably not going to make it happen. So you guys, I got to the point where I started really writing as much controversial topics as I possibly could in my first hook. So I would write a very controversial hook. I would write it, and then I would tell ChatGPT to write a story around it. Now, I've also implemented some fiction into my channel as well. Like, I mean, it's historic based. So I put some fiction in there, and then I tell people at the end, hey, check your facts type thing. So I'm just having some fun with it. You guys, I think that so oftentimes we think that we got to stay in this little box. Like if we're in the health and fitness, niche, let's just say hypothetically, we have to stay in that. Like we have to say, hey, count your macros or, do the key, whatever it is, you have to stay in that little box, and you don't. The sooner you get out of that box, what I've found in the last 16 days, you guys can go look at my last 16 videos. In the last, well, not even 16 days, the last probably week and a half, I've been trying some new stuff. Cole, we have not had a single video except for one that's been under 5,000 views in the last 16 videos. Multiple ones over like 20, 30, 60,000. And it's all because we decided to do something a little bit different. So I think you guys can get rewarded by doing something that TikTok's never seen. And you don't have to come up with those ideas on your own. Lean on AI. So sorry, I know it's a long answer, but that's my thought.
No, it's a great answer. And thank you so much for sharing it. And I think before I have a couple more questions I want to ask you, but I think this is a great opportunity because one thing you mentioned there is there's a couple things you're doing that are just working, right? And I mentioned this in the school post, I believe yesterday, but now that it's more official, we can probably chat a little bit about it. So for anyone that's here from the school post or watching this recording, we're super grateful that James is going to be coming on board in terms of a partnership style where he's going to be holding live calls on Zoom within the school community multiple times a week, going through live trainings, helping you guys, basically giving all the information that he has to you guys if you're willing to just show up at the end of the day. And we're super happy, and we're going to be providing more details, but I'm sure some of you guys are listening to this, right? It's like, man, there's like one little part of that I want to know. That's exactly why James is going to be holding these trainings. I'll be in some of them as well. But the reason we did this is because, first of all, James is an incredible person, and we totally trust him, with the community. He's been here since March, and he's never wavered in his support and his belief in our mission, which is super exciting. and he's given us incredible feedback. He's been super helpful. He never asked for anything. And we're like, this is like the perfect person to come and, to come on and help people. And he has a huge track record of helping so many people. And we're like, you know what? What if we just reached out to James and said, you know what, James, do you think you would want to come on and help out the OSSA community? And we're grateful that he will be. And yeah, I'm just super excited. So anyone that's here that is kind of hearing that, I hope it gets you excited, because it gets us excited, because our biggest thing is at OSSA, we totally understand there's a massive barrier to entry to social media. There really is. And James knows this as well. I've done social media for the past half decade. And when we originally created OSSA, I created this mural board, which is like just a board, if you don't know that platform, where I listed all the problems a creator goes through. And there's 80 to 90 problems. It all starts with, okay, I need to create a profile. Okay, I need to create a username. Okay, I need to verify my email, right? There's all these steps. And, the goal of what we're doing with OSSA is to solve those problems one by one. But to be honest, sometimes there's so much to do that you just need someone there. You need someone there to help you. And James recognized that early on with Faceless content. And that's why, we're super excited. So James, I don't know if you have anything you want to share, on top of that, about kind of your thoughts on it and what you're looking for.
Yeah, man. I mean, so look, you guys, number one, OSA's, you guys know I'm committed to it. I talk about OSSA every single night on my lives with no partnership, no involvement. I've talked about you guys for months, right? And the reason why is because it's worked for me. So why wouldn't I share it, right? Even before I had even an affiliate link, I came out and shared, the process of working with OSSA. So you guys, there's the vested interest for me is the opportunity that it works, because look, there's no benefit to me if I'm putting information out there and it's not working, right? I mean, I'm gonna have a bunch of people bashing on me. So for me, it's a great opportunity. But here's the thing. I said this to Cole the other day. I said, look, dude, you guys have a magic trick. Like, they have the ability to turn text into video. It's a magic trick, right? But if you guys have ever been to a magic store and you bought a trick, I don't know if you guys have done this. That we went to Vegas a couple times, and I would buy these little magic tricks, and I would get home and I can't quite figure out how to do them. You guys, that's the challenge with AI. It looks amazing to a lot of people, but you don't quite totally understand, once you get that little trick in your hands, what to do with it. My goal to help you with OSSA and helping the people that are coming through OSSA is to show you how to use that trick, like in a way that you can not just use it for fun, but how you can monetize it in multiple different segments of the market. And that's what I'm excited about. I love teaching, so I'm fired up to be able to kind of walk people through the process of what do you actually do with this thing? How do we use it? And what are the little tricks that we can do and stuff like that? So it should be fun.
It's going to be awesome. And, they're all going to be recorded. So I know people are busy, but we're working out the times to most likely be in the evening so that people can be around. And we don't have set dates or anything, but if that interests you, I know a lot of you are already watching this from the school community, but if you're not in there, make sure to join the school community. You can do that by going to the website and then going to the tools section, ossa.ai, and then joining through. There's a big button that says school community, or you could probably just go on school and look up OSSA Academy, OSSA Academy on school, and it's free. You can join. You're going to be let right in, and then just keep an eye inside there. Keep an eye on the posts inside there so we can keep you updated. But we're super excited. We're very confident in James' ability. At the end of it, how can you not be? We're seeing this in real time. I've talked to these people that's changed their lives. I've talked to Kui. He's a guy who loves martial arts. All of a sudden, he has people from other countries, third world countries, that are like, I love martial arts, but I don't have enough money to get gear. And this guy sends him gear. And this guy's never seen Kui's face. Like, imagine having that impact. It's super humbling for us too when we hear things like that, because it's partly what we've built, but it's also people like James that have helped people understand what's the best way to use it. Because we've said this since the start, OSSA is a tool. We don't want to take away all the creativity from people. We don't want to do everything for you. We want to be that perfect mix between creativity, but also AI, because I think this is something I've always, I'll die on this, but I've always talked about this. Nobody wants something that does everything for them, because at that point it's not yours. And I think that's what pretty much every company is messing up, or at least not paying attention to. A lot of the big ones, there's no joy in creating if you don't have any sort of authority over how it looks or how it performs. So our thing is always, how do we give people more control, more creativity, but not make it more difficult? And that's the hardest thing to balance because it's very easy for us to, and we're going to dive into a couple features at the end here. I have a couple more questions for James. I know a lot of you guys are looking forward to seeing the chat to video stuff, and there's a lot of big things coming, but that's always going to be our thing. And we're just super, super excited to have James on board. So
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
incredible. Just checking in the chat. We got some yay awesomes. We got some awesomes. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. We got some exciting stuff towards the end here. A couple more questions, James. I think this is a big one. This is one that probably anyone would ask you. If you could start over today with the knowledge you have now, what would you do differently?
Man, I think that, or are you talking about face forwarding or are you talking about faceless?
Faceless.
Yeah. So I guess they're both kind of one and the same, though. I think that in the sense that where I think that you have to start is with the who and not the what. And what I mean by that is most of the time when we're talking to people, you hear that word niche, or I hate that word, by the way, niche, whatever y'all call it. I try not to even say that word because it drives me up the wall.
I don't
I
like it
think
either.
that I would start with the who. A lot of y'all are business minds, especially if you come from the corporate world. You automatically start thinking about the what. What am I selling? What is my offer? What is my service? What is my whatever? I think that you have to start with the who. And if you can figure out the who, and by the way, let me just give you a little tip. You don't have to know them. You don't have to like them. You don't have to agree with them. You don't have to do anything. Everybody else does, right? We're looking what everybody else wants, not what you want. So just keep that in mind. And Cole, I take a lot of heat for this, but I say sometimes the passion's the pathway to poverty, especially when it comes to faceless content. And like people like really like tense up at that because you hear some big marketers saying, follow your passion, follow your passion. Not suggesting that you can't, because if you can, awesome. However, don't get clouded in the fact that it's not about what you want; it's about what everybody else wants. So for me, the number one thing I would have done differently if when first starting this is I would really focus on groups of who, and I probably would have started more than one page because I only really stuck with the one. I probably would have started more, but now my life's like kind of crazy, so I don't have time to do a lot of that. But that's what I would have done differently.
Yeah, no, it makes so much sense. And it kind of ties back to that original point you made of, the importance of really focusing on the target audience, right? I mean, that's really what you're talking about, right? You're talking about
100%.
who are we talking to at the end of the day? And a lot of people, like we mentioned, we're harping on this point, but a lot of people end up in low view jail because there's really no direction because you haven't asked that question. I guarantee you, if you answer that question and you go make content for a week, you're going to see an increase in your views because you're going to have more focus on why you're actually doing the thing. Because sometimes when we're creating content, I know this myself, and it's something I've gone through too. This is literally something I'm going through right now with my personal brand because I'm kind of shifting my content. And I have to continuously ask myself, why am I actually creating this content? And now that I'm working, I was talking with James about this, I'm working on a school community for my personal brand. It's a lot clearer for me because I know the type of person that I'm going to help solve problems. So if I create content that's not speaking to that person, it doesn't matter if it gets 5,000 views or a million views, right? If I have a video that does a million views, but it's irrelevant to the type of person that I'm targeting, is that really a successful video? And I think that's a whole nother different topic, kind of more on the personal brand side, but it's something you can also borrow for Faceless, right? Because you might have a video in the motivational niche that does a million views, but was it just luck or was that actually purposeful? And I think that's what James is talking about there is that's really the pinnacle that you get into as a content creator. Once you kind of pay attention to those things I talked about, how I personally analyze content, right? And how I look at it. I'm sure James is a little bit different, but some similarities. Once you figure out what's going to perform and your target audience, that's like the lottery ticket for any creator because you don't have to guess anymore. But if you find yourself guessing, typically it's because you've never asked that question that James just said. That's what I found.
Yeah, 100%, man. I mean, one thing I'd add to that is uh, the imperfect action. The best creators out here are the ones that take the imperfect action. I think when we're looking at this, especially with AI, you think everything has to be perfect. You have to mess around with it. You don't. Like, you guys, we're looking for engagement. So if you have something that doesn't look right, sometimes that little imperfection is what's going to set your video off. There's been many videos I've made where I've had one little error on purpose, by the way, that have actually helped my video. So just keep in mind that, as you get moving into this, don't take an hour to do a video. Take the 5 minutes and roll with it and just see what happens, but with purpose, just like Cole said.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Incredible. Well, I want to go into screen sharing here, talking about a couple things. I want to show chat to video because I talked about this. James does already know. So, James, you don't have to act surprised. James knows I showed him. And then someone asked here real quick, do you have a checklist to start? So, we have a school community, OSSA, so I can show you where that is. James also has his own school community. And towards the end here, we'll definitely give James the chance to talk about where you can find stuff from him, where you can learn from him, of course. But real quick, I just want to pull this up so you guys can know how to get here because we do have some resources that'll help you get started. Let me just make sure I'm sharing the right screen here. Okay. So I'm going to drop this link here in the chat. Hopefully it comes through. If not, here is the OSSA Academy. It's free to join. You can come in here to the classroom, and this is the most recent course that I dropped. It's many modules, and it goes all the way through target audience, username, basically account setup all the way to ideation. I know someone asked about ideation. How do I come up with ideas? I talk about that in this. I talk about script writing, talk about how to create videos on OSSA. I talk about posting content and monetization a little bit. But James is definitely going to be highlighting this a lot more in the trainings, to my understanding, from what we chatted about, because that's his bread and butter when it comes to monetizing Faceless. I talked about this in a broader sense because I have a personal brand, but I know that James has much deeper industry knowledge on the Faceless side. So that's definitely something you guys can look forward to. And then a couple other things in here. So GPT mastery, I've created a bunch of GPTs. This scriptwriter GPT is, to my understanding, the #1 scriptwriter in the entire ChatGPT store. Has like 40,000 conversations, 5 stars. This is really solid. So you can click here to access that. Then I have an ideation GPT. James, I don't know if you've seen this, but I have this new GPT as well. Basically, you can give it your video, tell it views, comments, and it'll tell you why the video performed. Like, you
I have
basically,
not seen that.
it's really powerful. So there's that. By the way, this is all free. Just so everybody knows. Username, profile picture. This is an old one. And then here is just a mini course that I created with some target audience stuff. I mean, this solves a lot of problems we've talked about today. When it comes to monetization, I think that's something that we kind of want to hand off to James, because I'm not one to talk about things I haven't done. And I have not monetized a Faceless account myself. So that's why I don't have deep information on that. I like to talk about things that I have done. So we're going to leave that one to James. And then, I guess while we're here, might as well show how you guys can take a look at some of James' stuff. So James has his TikTok here, right? So here's his personal page. As you can see, he's crushing almost 100K. Very nice.
Yeah, I'm trying to hit it by the beginning of the year. So go give me a follow. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I really am trying to hit it by the first of the year. We'll see what happens.
Incredible. And then come here, you can get to his stand store, right? And you can just take a look through here basically on, do you want to run through this real quick?
Yeah, I mean, someone asked me a checklist, or my checklist, which is very similar to Cole's. I would really take advantage of that free community. I mean, like, he's worked a ton in that school community to give you guys awesome tools. If you want to get on my email list, obviously that first one there, it kind of gives you like the 4-step process that I use, which will be similar to Cole's. I do have a course. I also have like what I call the bundle, where you guys can work one-on-one with me and also get the course included. So you guys can go there. I will tell you this though. What I would rather do is I would tell you to come out to my lives. I go live almost every single night on TikTok around 9:30 Central Time. Sometimes it's 9:45. Come out there and join me on a live so I can show you live what the 4-step process is. And then if you want to take it further from that point, then you can decide if you want to work with me, but I teach people how to do this live every single night for free.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's incredible. And then one thing I also wanted to note here, I dropped this in the chat earlier, but I don't know if the link went out to everyone. But someone was asking about, one thing you mentioned is one of the biggest tools that you can do on social media is by sorting your videos by highest viewed. So there's this free tool called TikTok Sorter, and you can use this on desktop. This is what I use, right? And it's free to use. And then it's going to be up here, right? TikTok Sorter. And what you can do is basically, I can pop in here. We might as well show your page, right? So let's just show them. For anyone who's like, is this guy really doing that? Right? You can see here. It's sorting by top views. So let me just disable that. But check it out. Absolutely crushing. These are just posted. But you can see here, look at these views, 40,000, 15,000, 34. You're crushing it, brother. That's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, incredible. We've had a good couple of weeks here. It's been pretty awesome.
Yeah, but if you come here, right, you have the Chrome TikTok sorter, and you can see I can scroll down. What I could actually do is I could just, here on desktop, right, and these would all load in. I'm not going to go through all of them. but you can see it's going to start sorting the highest viewed videos. So then you can start to find patterns across your highest viewed videos. Free to use, super valuable. I've used this almost every day for the past 5 years. It's free to use. Like I said, highly recommend using that for anyone who's kind of trying to figure out what's working. Gives you some clarity so you don't have to like bounce through all your videos and try and figure out what's working.
That's awesome.
Incredible. All right. Well, wrapping up here, I just want to pull up something. And while I'm getting it ready, maybe you have some final words to kind of close out the interview segment.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, as Cole's pulling this up, you guys, if you're watching this here today, the biggest thing I always close with on any presentation I give is that I don't care what you got going on right now. I don't care what your offer is. Meaning that maybe you don't even have an offer. Maybe you're working 9 to 5. Maybe you're brand new to social media, trying to figure it out, or maybe you do have an offer. Like my main business is consulting. It's not faceless content, right? My faceless content takes me 15, 20 minutes a day, maybe. But here's the deal: every single one of you, I don't care what you're doing, you should have a faceless channel. It is not by accident, y'all, that every single major marketer out there is talking about this. I mean, we're in the midst of an opportunity, and it will be one, I promise you, it will be one that you look back at in a couple years and say, dang, I remember being on that live stream with James and Cole, and they were talking about this faceless thing and how big it was going to be. And you don't want to be that person, right? So it takes you, I mean, come out to my live. I will teach you guys how to do it. Plug into the OSSA trainings. They'll teach you how to do it. Set up your faceless account and get it rocking and rolling. You'll be thankful that you did.
Incredible. And there's a little quick shout out. It's an awesome course, well worth the cost. I would agree. I mean, the success that he's having is there. Definitely, join OSSA, take a look at it. And if you want a little bit extra, you want to work closely with the man himself, you want to hop into his private community, obviously would love to see you guys in there as well, because he's absolutely crushing it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Brilliant. Cool. Well, I have it pulled up here. Want to just quickly go through this. And we have so many product updates coming. We have a ton. I know the products definitely, for anyone that's listening, I know the products felt a little bit stagnant. We're so aware, but it's because all of our engineers have been working on really massive projects, like really big changes. And I'll dive into some of those in a minute, but I first just want to show off this guy here. I think people will think this is pretty cool. So this is very, very close to being released. We're planning either next week or the following week, but I want to show you guys a quick preview. Been working on this for a couple months every single day. One of our engineers, he's been crushing. His name's Justin. Shout out to you, brother. Absolute brilliant young man. But with that being said, what we're doing here is, I think this is the future of AI. I think this is the next big thing. And we're gonna be the first company in the world to actually do this. When you look back at 2022, you saw LLMs, you saw even before that, right? And then you look into 2023 and we see text to image, right? And then you look into 2024 this year and you see image to video. I think 2025 is going to be the year of chat to video or something similar, where this is what we've done. We've basically taken LLMs and we've integrated that into the creation process to make it so you no longer really need to, and I'm going to show you guys just the MVP version, but we have a lot planned. But the idea here is taking away the complexity of having to create a video and turning that into natural language. I'm sure you guys are very familiar with ChatGPT and Claude and all these LLMs that people are using on a daily basis. That's essentially, in a way, what we've done, but we've combined that with video creation. So I want to take you guys through it. So with that being said, let's pick a video to create something about. All right. And I'm going to pull a James here. Let's see if we have some active audience. Let's ask the audience, what do you guys want? Is there any ideas for what we could create? We could do this live. If anyone has any ideas. If not, then maybe I'll just pull from James.
Oh, sure. Put me on the spot, dude. I'm cool.
Let's see. We'll give it a second because there's probably some delay. Just drop an idea, drop a topic. I can build off it if needed. It doesn't need to be super well explained. But let's see if we get anything in here. And I also think it's only pulling certain comments. So hopefully. If not, I'm just going to choose one. Thanksgiving 2025. Okay. What do we think? Should we ideate off that a little bit? We take Thanksgiving. Should we say like the history of Thanksgiving, or let's just try that. create a video about Thanksgiving 2025. I'm just going to give it that and let's see what we get. How to prepare perfect Thanksgiving dinner. I kind of like that one. What do we think?
Let's roll with it.
All right, we're rolling. All right, and then this is going to get updated, but basically you can provide more info. You can have it come up with it for you, which I know most people are going to have it come up with them for them. All right, we have our target audience. Who's our target audience here? Let's see. You have who should we pick here, James?
I can't hardly see that. I mean, so dealer's choice.
All right, dealer's choice.
Beginner cooks. I don't know.
Yeah, beginner cooks. All right, let's go with the tone. Let's make it informative and educational. And you can provide your own text here as well. I'm just selecting the generated options that it gives us based off the chat. All right. Do you transform your Thanksgiving with these expert tips? And then do we want the viewers to take a call to action? Follow for more cooking tips and tricks. Let's do that. Let me pull this up too so we can see it. Boom, Thanksgiving. So boom, we have our scripts. James already given us feedback. We're going to make these a little bit longer to make sure they qualify for the TikTok creator program. So that little update's coming in. But here we go. We have a couple scripts to choose from. So we're seeing here, we probably want to do the longer one. So let's just pick this. I'm not even going to change it. I'm just going to show how easy this is. All right. And then you can also come in here. You can edit your script if needed, or we're just going to go with this one. So boom, we have the script. That's the entire script step. So now we've brought in that in-house for you guys so you don't have to go externally, right? Then we get a recommended voice, right? So this is from scratch, just to be clear. I'll show you a couple other things, but it doesn't always have to be this many steps. This is for if you're starting from scratch and you're trying new styles, you're trying new scripts, right? So we have the voice, right? It gives us a recommended voice. Let me see if we can hear this. Can you hear that?
I can't hear it, dude.
Can't hear it. All right. We're just going to roll with it. All right. And then we have a recommended style, as you can see. So it chose cottagecore for us. We're just going to roll with that. We're going to go with all the recommendations. So basically, as you're going through the chat, right, let's say you're brand new to content creation, trying to find your style, you're trying to find your voice, right? All these are recommended. So you don't even have to choose technically. You can obviously make adjustments, right? But let's just go through and let's take all the recommendations from our models. Let's not even change anything. And then we have also, this really simplifies this as well. You get AI recommended settings for your actual editing style. So that's super exciting as well. So you can see here, we're just going to not even change it. And that is the process for creating a video. That's it. So it's going to go into the queue. It's going to go into processing. Hopefully this isn't too slow because we're not in a production environment, but I want to show you guys a couple other things and hopefully this works out here. But if I come here and I go to showcase, this is really cool. So we have two other aspects of chat to video. Number one, which I know James is going to like this, is if you have a video that you like, right, that performed, or that you like the style, you like the voice, and you don't want to have to go and choose your target audience and everything again, you could actually just pop in here, right? Let's say we liked this video, which is about Cleopatra's Greek heritage, right? So we have our script, we have all of our settings, right? It looks like it's hyperrealism. The voice is Tyreek, right? So we have this video here. And I know you guys can't hear that. We can actually come back in here and we can create a similar video. And hopefully this works here because I know we need some updates. Perfect. So now we talked about ideation, right? It's something we chatted about in this conversation. So this is one way if you're doing faceless content with OSSA to come up with ideas is you just pop in on a video that performed and now it's going to give you ideas based off of that video, similar to that video, right? So we could just click in here. And once again, you go through the steps.
Love it. Man, this kind of goes back to Tony's question too. I mean, like as far as having some of those idea blocks, this really opens up the door.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole goal is just to make it easier for people to create so they don't have to, go externally, or if they have ideas, it's kind of all bucketed in here. And then we have the script, right? So let's just choose it again. We're not going to read through it. I'd recommend you guys definitely review your script, right? We have submit video. And I don't think it's going to really sink in like how fast that was, but that was the entire creation of a new video.
That's crazy.
Just like that, right? And boom, we have this expert Thanksgiving tips. So let's take a look at that. I'm going to try and share the audio here. Okay, let's see. Share a tab. Okay. Should be able to hear the audio now. So let's take a look at this video.
Transform your Thanksgiving with these expert tips. Preparing the perfect Thanksgiving dinner in 2025 involves a blend of tradition and modern techniques. Start by crafting a menu that showcases seasonal ingredients, ensuring you cater to various dietary preferences from gluten-free to vegan options. A succulent turkey is a must. Consider brining it overnight for maximum flavor. Incorporate innovative recipes like sweet potato casserole with a twist or a savory pumpkin soup. Time management is crucial. Prep as much as you can the day before. Use modern cooking methods like sous vide for the turkey and air fryers for crispy sides. Don't forget to create a festive atmosphere with beautiful table settings and seasonal decor. With these steps, you'll create a memorable experience for your family and friends. Follow for more cooking tips and tricks.
It's crazy, man.
You're used to it, so you're like,
yeah, but look, dude, you know what's crazy about it? I mean, like, even for people who are used to it, is the fact that by just asking us a couple simple questions, the system was able to navigate the direction of that video. Because oftentimes, you know, as creators, man, one of the biggest challenges is that block. Like Tony just said it. Where do you get some of these ideas? Here, it's asking you the questions. It's triggering your mind to answer. You can still use your creativity, but at the same time, you're using AI even at a deeper level than what it's been used right now. So I love this. It's super cool.
Yeah, I'm excited.
That thing's gonna rock.
I'm excited to show you guys, and I just want to really like put this in perspective because I don't want to underhype this. Like, this is massive. Like, we've taken natural language chat and we've turned it into video creation. This has not been done before, not even by OpenAI. Like, no one's done this. And what this will become eventually is, you know, it kind of leans into where we're headed, which is, you know, we have chat to video eventually in here. You know, we'll have some stuff where you can maybe have a custom voice, maybe voice clone. You know, we'll have custom styles so you can actually generate your own styles, right? We'll have image to video. We're going to have this beautiful orchestra of all this customizability. And we're going towards, I've talked about this, but we're going towards an app. I think I've kind of shared it a little bit in some of the community calls. I've shared it with James. We're building a mobile app. And I'm sure you can kind of start to see the picture of where this is headed. Imagine, right? And imagine if there's an app on your phone where you can create content, right? That easy, right? About what you're passionate about, right? And it works and it gets engagement. We've proven that through people like James and all the success stories he has. So it's like now you have an app where anyone can create content. They can talk about whatever they're passionate about, right? They can grow a following and eventually they can monetize it. And that's kind of the growth path of where we want to lead with OSSA is, yes, we're building an app where you're going to be able to create and post videos and grow a following, you know, have a link in your bio. And eventually we will have for sure a creator program where anyone, like, the threshold for creating content and growing a following is going to go down to, like, that barrier to entry will go to 0, because if you can type, then you can now create. If you can type text and press buttons, right, you can now create, and not just create content. Like, I did that without even thinking about it, and look how great that video was. If I can do it just like that when I'm carrying a full conversation with James and not even paying attention, imagine the type of quality content you can create now and how easy it is with a tool like this, right? So we're super excited. We also have some massive improvements. I've shared this with James once again, but we know that Studio is not the easiest to navigate, right? We know that some of the images are not perfect. We're aware of these things, and we're making a really big update to Studio and how you're going to be able to edit it. It's going to be based off of a couple things that I'll probably share later, but it's going to be just much easier to use. You're going to be able to do a lot more to your videos after they've been created, right? So that's going to be super exciting as well. We have another engineer who's working on a big project for that. So we're super excited for that. And I might as well show this video as well, since we just created it. So this was based off of that one, right? So we have a very similar video.
The untold story of Greek culture in ancient Egypt. Cleopatra, the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic kingdom, was a remarkable figure whose Greek heritage significantly impacted Egyptian culture. Her reign marked a period of profound cultural exchange, where Greek and Egyptian traditions intertwined. Politically, Cleopatra forged alliances with powerful Roman leaders, enhancing her influence. Culturally, she promoted the blending of artistic styles, evident in the architecture of temples that showcased both Greek and Egyptian elements. Language also evolved, with Greek becoming prominent in administration and literature. Cleopatra's legacy as a bridge between these two civilizations is a testament to her role in shaping a unique cultural identity. Share this to spread the knowledge.
So there's another video. Maybe you're passionate about Cleopatra. Well, it's that easy to create content about her. So I know that was a lot. And James, I want kind of your first thoughts. I know you guys are super excited. I'm seeing some people super excited in the chat as well. So James,
Dude,
what are your first thoughts?
I think what you said, which was really profound to me, is that by simply anyone, it's like a level 0 entry of being able to type a sentence to create content. That changes the game, you guys. I mean, like literally, if you can type a key on your phone or on your computer and hit enter, you can create content that can be posted on social media. Like, I mean, and I just think that's phenomenal, dude. And you already know, like, I'm excited about the changes. Obviously, the app coming, so many different aspects of the studio and things like that. It's just, you guys, that's why I'm excited to be able to train for OSSAs, because, the direction they're going is the direction that I love to see where they're headed. And I'm fired up to be part of it.
Yeah, we're super excited to have you. Well, kind of closing out here, I don't want to talk too much about some of the bigger things, but yes, there are bigger things that we're also working on. So there's just a lot of moving parts, but we know that the product's been where it's been, and that's because we've been working on this and a couple other really big things. We're super excited. And yeah, kind of closing out here. If there's any final comments or questions, maybe James, this would be a good time to talk about where, we kind of already showed, but maybe a last kind of call to action to where people could maybe learn more from you or why they might want to work with you. I'm sure it's because he has crazy value, by the way, but.
Well, I appreciate that, dude. I mean, I honestly, I think the place people should start is if you have time to come out to one of my lives on TikTok. Like I said, I go at 9:30 Central. That's 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern. If you guys have time to check that out, I typically do that 7 days a week. Not every 7 days, but pretty close. So you guys, my TikTok is at James Ward Biz. I only have one account. I have about 10 people impersonating me, but that's my only one. So I would say check it out there. And then from there, you can go to my stand store if you guys would like. But, what I personally like to do in any situation is be able to showcase my value a little bit before anyone does anything. I know that sounds strange. Of course, I'd love to just send you to a link and say, hey, buy this. But that's typically not the way I operate. I want to make sure that it resonates with you. So that's the best place to do it. And, Cole, like I said, you guys will be able to see me on the trainings as well. I'm fired up. I think I've used that term like 5 times now. I am, though. I'm excited about where we're going.
We're fired up too. We're excited with, I think, just some big things are coming. You're coming on board to help people find more success. The product's about to go through some major changes. The app's coming, which is going to be massive. We already have, I think, like 50,000 people on the wait list, and we just dropped that not too long ago. So there's a lot of interest. So we're excited. We also, this is a side note, we also applied to Y Combinator. I'm sure you guys have heard of that. So we haven't heard back from them, but we should very soon. So we're hoping that they see the potential in what we're doing. So the team might be moving to San Fran for a couple months and really locking in even more if that's possible. So it's going to be a good year. And we're super grateful for James. We're grateful for anyone watching this that's been a part of the journey. I still consider us early in this journey, even though, we've been working on this for 2 years. We've been live for maybe 7, 8 months, but it is early in the big picture. Like if you want to build $1 billion thing, it's going to take a decade, right? So we're definitely we're early on.
That's awesome, man. Well, you guys will get there, dude. I mean, like you already have a head start. That's one thing I say about you guys constantly is like some of these big companies, like that, even companies I've used, they're apples to oranges in the direction that you're going. So I'm excited to see where you guys end up.
Absolutely. Well, thanks so much for hopping on. It's been a very productive hour. When will the first session be held is something that was asked. We don't have specific days just yet. We have a couple things we have to get ready on our end, but we're shooting for maybe end of next week, latest the beginning of the following. But we're just as antsy as you guys to get James onboarded and have him spit in value like he always does. So we'll keep you guys updated. Make sure to keep an eye on the school community if you're not already in there. Make sure to check out James' stuff. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for sticking around and listening in. And yeah, James, once again, thank you so much for being here. Excited to have you on board. It's going to be
my pleasure.
It's going to be awesome next couple months, brother.
My pleasure. My pleasure. So, all right, you guys have a great day. Thank you for having me out. I look forward to seeing you guys.